I think what we do on a regular basis here is so fast-paced that it becomes very difficult to keep up with. Like, for instance, if you're hosting a show and you're DMing the Missouri State Senator hypothetically because they're like, "Hey, I'm on a plane with the president. Ask me questions." And you sit there and you're like, "Okay, well, I'm asking Ryan Wiggins questions right now. Maybe I will send a quick message to Senator Eric Schmitt and see what he has to say." And then he's like, "How about I come on the show?" And then he does, which is just absolutely amazing. Senator Eric Schmitt back on with us. Thank you for the time today and answering that DM. I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you.
Sure. No, I was on the plane, and instead of doing like real work that my staff gave me with my takeout binder, I just decided to be on X and do like a Q&A. So yeah, I was. So anyway, I just landed and back in St. Louis, so I figured I'd call. Absolutely.
Well, we're very glad to have you. I want to ask you about the confirmation process, which was the question that I did send you. We're going to see now moved indoors, the inauguration taking place on Monday. How quickly after that are we going to have a Secretary of State, a Defense Secretary, an Attorney General, and so on?
So I think next week, for the confirmation hearings that we had this week, so Pete Hegseth for Department of Defense, Pam Bondi, AG, Marco Rubio, Kristi Noem, Doug Burgum for Energy. I think the ones that you saw this week will get votes next week. That's my hope. I know that I think Marco Rubio's teed up for actually Inauguration Day on Monday.
Good.
So yeah, we're looking to move that quickly to make sure, especially on the national security team, to have that in place. There's obviously a lot of threats around the world, and so we want to make sure the president's got his team in place quickly. So, and then after that, we'll move on. I think, Kash Patel will be in front of the committee before the end of the month, in front of the Judiciary Committee that I'm on. So I think we're gonna try to move quickly.
Senator Eric Schmitt on with us right now. Do you feel as though there's any is there going to be a struggle to get any of these confirmations through once the votes actually happen?
I don't think so. I mean, we don't need any Democrat votes to do it. I've not heard of any Republicans, Senate Republicans, as no votes on anyone yet. I mean, we'll see how it plays out. But I would point out historically, it'd be really rare, actually, if there was. I mean, since Bill Clinton, there's only been 3 no votes, not like, confirmations that went awry, but just no votes altogether on any nominees of a president from the same political party as the Senate. So I think that generally speaking, you're going to get broad discretion for the president to put his or her team together, and President Trump certainly earned that right with the mandate that he got on November 5th.
Senator, I remember hearing Senator Whitehouse's commentary to Pam Bondi, and the really slow. He has, bifocals, so he's got his head down and he's kind of looking up. It's a weird presentation when he's saying something to the potential next Attorney General of the United States, Pam Bondi. You would deem it to be inappropriate to find a name and then find a crime and then invoke the inverse as being the appropriate way of going about it. How do you react as a former attorney general, now senator, when you hear the Democrats very boldly say something so hypocritical like that?
Well, in that committee hearing, I was there. It was like you were in an alternate universe.
Right.
You were sort of like, what world have the Democrats been living in over the last 4 years to have that kind of sudden concern or find religion on the independence of the attorney general? I made sure I made the point that Eric Holder, I mean, this isn't a new phenomenon for the Democrats. Eric Holder referred to himself as Obama's heat shield and his wingman. Loretta Lynch, when she was AG under Obama, briefed Bill Clinton on the tarmac about the ongoing investigation of Hillary Clinton's emails 2 days before her FBI interview. So, spare me the outrage. And then, of course, the last 4 years, what we've seen under Merrick Garland was exactly that, a Soviet-style form of justice, which was show me the man, I'll show you the crime. These zombie cases were resurrected. Jack Smith, who's totally disgraced, overzealous prosecutor, was charged essentially with putting President Trump in jail so he couldn't win the election. And they failed. They absolutely failed. All this lawfare, I think people rejected. The American people didn't want to see it. Pam Bondi, I've known for years from AG World. I got a chance to introduce her on Wednesday, when that was, Wednesday. She's great. She'll restore credibility. She's fair. She's tough. She's smart. And, she can't get in there a moment too soon.
We're speaking with Senator Eric Schmitt. Very grateful to have you on the phone with us here. A little impromptu conversation. As you have said, you've landed back in St. Louis. I want to know about your conversations in the hearing there with Pete Hegseth. You went hard in on the DEI. And, if there's anywhere DEI should not be plaguing the system, you would think it would be under the responsibilities of the Secretary of Defense. Is Pete Hegseth going to get the job done to get DEI out of our military right away?
Absolutely. I think he's totally committed to it. We had that conversation in my office about a month ago, and I wanted to make sure I had a chance to ask him about it in the public hearing. I think he's really committed to it. He understands how destructive this divisive ideology is. There's no place in our military. You shouldn't be dividing the room by race. And I pointed out just a few examples. The Air Force Academy had discouraged language, including mom and dad. You're not supposed to say mom and dad. You're not supposed to say we're all just people. I mean, this is totally insane. And somehow it's infected our military, and there's no place there. And so I think he's going to root it out, and it's hurting recruiting. I think that's, the ultimate repercussion here is numbers are down. I think, Pete, one of the great things I think Pete Hegseth is going to do is I think you're going to see recruiting numbers go up. It's going to be the armed forces that we can all be proud of. And look, the men and women who serve, this is not their fault. This is coming from the political class that's being pushed down, and it doesn't matter what room it is, Annie. It can be a barracks or a classroom. They're obsessed with this stuff.
Yes.
They're obsessed with DEI. They're obsessed with critical race theory. It's Marxist ideology, and I think he's going to get rid of it. And I actually think you're going to see probably, you're going to see a flurry of executive orders mostly on the border, but you're going to see it on other stuff too. I wouldn't be surprised if President Trump on day one just says they're all gone. I've got legislation to say no more DEI offices, no more DEI positions in the federal government. I think he's going to do it by executive order too.
Well, Senator, we don't have much time left with you, just about a minute left here, but we do know that the inauguration has been moved indoors, frigid 12-degree temperatures in Washington, D.C. on Monday. Will you be there, and do you feel as though that this is going to go out without a hitch, safe, secure, get straight down to business during the inauguration?
Yeah, I mean, the city's on lockdown. I'm flying back for a father-daughter dance tonight, and then we were going to go back up with family this weekend, so I'll be there Monday. It'll be my first inauguration, too. I've never actually been to one, so it'll be kind of neat. But, yeah, the city's on lockdown. I think it's they're taking every precaution necessary. This was, strictly weather-related. And I don't know. I mean, it was done, I guess, in 1985 in Reagan's second inaugural. It was inside. But we are going to try to push out information. We've gotten a lot of requests from Missourians to attend, and we've, given out a bunch of tickets for people to be able to go do that. And so we're going to try to keep people informed as to what the actual deal is. I think all the inside events, like there's a rally on Sunday afternoon. There's all the inaugural balls that happen throughout the weekend and on Monday. Those are still happening. But I think, the actual, swearing in and all that stuff, which is outside where you've got on the Capitol Mall and on the Capitol steps, that'll be different. That'll be moved inside. So there are going to be some changes, but we'll try to keep people in the loop.
Senator Eric Schmitt, we appreciate your time. We can't wait to talk to you again and again and again because so much is going to be happening and you're going to be right there at the epicenter of it. So thanks for squeezing us into your schedule right after you landed back here home.
Sure thing. All right, take care.
Take
Bye-bye.
care. You as well. Bye-bye. Senator Eric Schmitt sent him a DM on X, and he was obliged to offer to come on the show. Coming back home for a daddy-daughter dance.
And then back to the Capitol on Monday
Gosh,
or Sunday.
Can this guy be more likable?
It's pretty cool.